Is there something you've been meaning to start? A goal, a project, a change that you've been wanting to make that you just have not? Not because you forgot and not because you don't care, but because every time you get close to starting, something gets in the way. And that something is usually you. If that resonates, you are in the right place. And I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you. What is happening has a name, and once you call it by its name, you can actually do something about it. Here's what I have noticed in my own life and in the lives of the women that I work with. Stalling almost never looks like laziness. It looks like being incredibly busy and somehow never moving forward on the things that actually matter to you outside of the urgent needs of every day. It looks like adding more to your to-do list while that one goal, the one real goal that you really want to work on, stays on the shelf or stays in your mind and never gets brought to the actual to-do list. And here's why. We stall when the gap between where we are and where we want to be feels too big. So we fill the gap with busyness, with research, planning, with waiting for a better moment or maybe a calmer week or wait until we have more energy or we feel more certain. And that waiting becomes our default mode. And I know this because I did it. When I became a new mom, I had this whole identity shift underneath, and I had goals, ones that mattered to me deeply, but I kept waiting until I felt like myself again. But guess what? I was never going to feel like myself again. I was a whole new person. And what I eventually realized was this: there is no perfect moment on the other side of a busy season, and there's only this season and the choice about what I do inside of it. So here's the reframe I want to offer you today. Instead of asking yourself, when will I have time to start? I want you to ask, what is the smallest, honest step I can take in the pockets of time that I actually have right now? This is not a big plan. It's not a reinvention. It is one small, honest step, something doable even on your hardest day and in your most imperfect season. Because growth does not require the perfect conditions, it requires one faithful step taken now in the season that you're actually in. And that is where momentum begins. Not with a perfectly mapped out plan, with one decision to stop waiting and start moving. Even if it's just a tiny step. Even if your path isn't completely clear yet. What to do right now. After this video, I want you to do one thing. Just one. Write down a goal that has been sitting on the shelf, the one that you've been talking about, and then write down the smallest possible version of the first step. Not the full plan, just the first step. Something that you could do this week or even today or in the 5 minutes after this video, in whatever pocket of time that you actually have. That is it. That is how you stop stalling and you start growing. One honest step at a time. If you want support taking this first step, I created something for this exact moment. It's called the Season Clarity Guide. It is a workbook that I created that walks you through this exact process of figuring out where you actually are, what you actually want, and one aligned step that fits inside your real season. These are questions that actually matter in a format that you can complete in one sitting and come back to over and over again as your season changes. If this video resonates with you today, the Season Clarity Guide is probably your next right step. The link is in the description below. You do not need more time and you do not need to feel ready. You just need your honest next step. I will see you in the next video because there's something even more specific I want to talk about next time. Something that I think might explain why your first step keeps getting delayed. And It's not what you think. But stay with me because I think it's going to be one of the most clarifying things you hear this year. We are going to talk about the difference between being stuck and actively avoiding because those are two very different things, and knowing which one you are doing can change everything. I will see you there.